The world has long been fascinated by the lives and untimely deaths of Hollywood stars, and in the realm of hip-hop, the tragic loss of Tupac Shakur has always been shrouded in whispers and rumors. However, a recent bombshell revelation from an unexpected source has shed new light on the matter. Mike Tyson recently brought up the surprising topic, seemingly implying Diddy's involvement in Tupac's death. Today, we're going to dive into the implications of this new evidence and attempt to unravel the truth behind the tragic event that forever altered the course of hip-hop history.
I'm crying that my friend is in this hospital, he's shot. And next thing you know, I'm going to my friend's funeral, but he shot my friend. That's crazy, right?
In a stunning revelation, Mike Tyson appears to assert that he possesses concrete evidence linking music mogul Sean Diddy Combs to Tupac's death. This revelation has reignited the long-standing debate and speculation surrounding the tragic and mysterious loss of Tupac. To understand the gravity of this claim, let's journey back to the 90s, a time when hip-hop reigned supreme and the world was captivated by the enigmatic figures in the music industry.
Sometimes you look at him, then you look at him at his best, you say, woo! So it's like Parnell Wood, because we just lost him, he's insane.
Amidst the dominance of legends like Tupac Shakur, who mesmerized the industry with his lyrical prowess, we fast forward to the present and find ourselves unraveling surprising revelations. In a candid interview with DJ Vlad, Mike Tyson made a heartfelt confession, admitting that he bears partial responsibility for the tragic loss of the iconic rapper. This unexpected disclosure has left the world stunned and reignited interest in the mystery surrounding Tupac's death.
Then his mother wrote me from prison and explained that Tupac was at the Indiana Black Expo, wanted to meet me, and that's the first day I met him.
The admission not only sheds new light on the circumstances surrounding Tupac's death, but also unveils the intricacies of the interconnected lives of these two influential figures. The friendship between a boxer and an activist may have seemed unusual, but it was truly genuine. It all began when Iron Mike was already a star, while Tupac was still trying to make a name for himself. Their paths crossed in a nightclub, where the aspiring rapper amazed the baddest man on the planet with his incredible singing talent.
Really good friends. I didn't hang out with him much. He didn't hang out, but we were always welcome when we saw each other. He was always welcome to be with me.
Moreover, the charismatic singer's passion for boxing brought them even closer. This shared interest in the sport is what led them to start hanging out together and cultivate an unbreakable bond of friendship.
I got him to a club one night. I think it was one of Magic Johnson's parties that when Magic and them left and everything, he wanted to come in.
In a recent Drink Champs interview with DJ EFN and Nori, released on Sunday, June 11th, Iron Mike opened up about his 1992 prison stint, sharing a mind-blowing interaction with the legendary West Coast artist that caused an uproar during his visit. While at an after-party at the Palladium on Sunset in California, Mike instructed security to allow a group of young men to enter through the back of the venue, and one of those men turned out to be Tupac. Once he came into the visiting room, and there was all these hillbilly hicks, mean Aryan guys. As soon as he came up, everybody started clapping, Tyson said. They respected him. Soon as he came in the room, they started applauding. Before Mike Tyson had shared this story with DJ Who Kid, along with former NBA players Matt Barnes and Stack Jackson, during an episode of his Hot Boxing podcast. This was after the New York DJ had pointed out the incredibly rare artwork Tyson possesses, depicting Tupac's compelling Machiavelli album cover artwork. The guards are saying that "Hey, stop, sit down. He was woo. He was a force," Tyson told Barnes, Jackson, and Who Kid of the encounter. "If he loved you, it was all love. But if he didn't like you, he looked for beef sometimes. He wanted you to know he was there." He continued, "Everywhere I go, out in Africa and Europe, people ask, what was Tupac like? How was Tupac? Everywhere all over the world. This is what he wanted. He wanted to be immortal." During his Drink Champs interview, Mike Tyson elaborated on how the meeting came about, sharing that he had only met the hit-em-up lyricist 6 months before his 1992 imprisonment. Tyson also revealed that it wasn't Tupac who reached out and made the initial contact prior to the rapper's visit.
Everywhere I go, out like in Africa, Europe, how was Tupac? What was Tupac like?
Right.
Throughout the course of the interview, Tyson goes on to speak at length about the visit and also name-dropped several of the other A-list celebrities who visited him, including Whitney Houston and more. "I had everybody: B.B. King, James Brown, Whitney Houston, Florence Henderson. Everybody came," he said. "I can't even name them all. Just so many people came to visit me." During the interview with DJ Vlad, he further recalled the time when he forced Tupac to come and see him fighting. On September 7, 1996, Tupac attended Mike Tyson's match against Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Tyson wanted him there, but looking back, the boxer believes that Tupac might still be alive if he hadn't pressured him to attend the match.
I feel a little guilty about him coming to the fight, me pressuring him for, "Hey, yo, bring the tape, don't forget the tape," you know?
He even elaborated that Tupac wanted him to go to 622, but he insisted that he come to Las Vegas. "I know who I am. I know what my element's about," he continued. "This is just what happens in my world. That was part of my world. Just because it was Tupac and I was attached to it, it was different." Nas, who had a brief feud with the rapper, also had plans to meet the Dear Mama lyricist in Vegas as they'd begun to put an end to their beef just a few days earlier. "We both knew we were supposed to continue that conversation and probably just squash the whole thing. I was scheduled to meet him in Vegas," the Queen's rapper previously revealed. After some days of that fight, it was reported that Tupac had been found dead.
Yes, I remember that fight because I remember talking to Tupac, making sure that he would have the tape because I was coming out of his with his music.
Yeah,
and I was calling him, make it on time.
As Tyson was coming out of his music, he decided to meet Tupac on his own. Unfortunately, the meeting could not be made possible as Tupac died that day. "I was at my house. I just had a brand new baby girl. I couldn't believe it. I told him, I am coming to see you. I get dressed, then I had to go. I had to see my daughter. And somebody told me he had got shot, and the next morning they had released that he had died." To this day, Tyson carries the weight of regret, haunted by the thought that if he only had arrived a few minutes earlier, he might have been able to help Tupac and prevent his tragic death. The pain of not being able to protect his friend and witnessing the aftermath of that fateful night still lingers in his heart.
That was part of my world. My world just happens. But just because it was Tupac and I was attached to it, it was different.
It's a burden he carries with him, wishing he could turn back time and alter the course of events. The memories of their friendship and the bond they shared serve as a constant reminder of what could have been, and the profound impact Tupac's loss had on his life.
I expect somebody to die after a fight or somebody get hurt, something crazy happened. But when it happened to him, it was different.
On September 13, 1996, the world lost the iconic musician after a brave battle for his life. His untimely death left a void in the hearts of countless fans, and the mystery surrounding his murder remains unresolved, adding to the enduring pain of his loss. One of his fans wrote, "Tupac talked about woke subjects in interviews and his music, and it makes me feel that these cases aren't solved due to bribing the authorities with money or threats to avoid incarceration and make it into a cold case just like other similar situations with other celebrities' deaths that were labeled as suicide to do damage control and keep them silent from the information they have on others that can destroy their empire." Another one wrote, "Why are people still claiming that the Tupac murder is unsolved? We know exactly what happened. We know the names of the people involved. We know the type of car they did it in. What's so mysterious about it?" Their bond went beyond the surface, as both endured hardships. During Mike's time behind bars, Tupac visited him in jail, a testament to the depth of their friendship. This meaningful gesture speaks volumes about the genuine connection they shared.
I'm living in Cleveland then, but I'm coming out from LA. I'm just coming from LA or New York. I'm coming, maybe New York. I'm coming, just go to the plane. Tupac's in the arena. I'm in the arena in Cleveland.
Tupac's legacy as a brilliant artist and voice for the marginalized continues to shine brightly, but the unanswered questions serve as a constant reminder of the injustice and sorrow that marked his departure. However, Tyson gave a warning to the assassin of his friend.
You don't get in trouble anymore. You don't see nobody write anything about me no more, do you?
Right.
Things have changed. But when I'm young out there and I'm strapped and I'm ready to go,
According to some insiders, there was one person who was with Tupac at the time of his death, and that was Diddy. During several interviews, Tyson has pointed figures toward Diddy many times. Patrick Bet David, the host of a podcast Valuetainment, asked about the intricacies of the death behind Tupac Shakur. "No, I just knew him for a long time," said Mike Tyson after being questioned on his closeness with P. Diddy. "Awesome guy. I knew him before he was Diddy, when I first became champ. He used to have my crates at my after parties and stuff," said Tyson. Mike Tyson reflected on his childhood memories, recalling how he found it astonishing to think about leaving negative influences behind and never encountering them again at his lowest points. He said, "I remember when I was 11, 12 years old. It baffles me to think you just got away from these people. You'll never see them again at the worst of your level. You're not the only one God had his hands on. These guys were made successful too. You're almost like proud in a way." According to certain reports, there are suggestions of Diddy being somehow connected to Tupac's murder. The focus on this matter intensified when Biggie's murder case was reopened at the request of his mother in 2006. During this process, LAPD detective Greg Carding came across new information that seemed to link Diddy to the killing of Tupac.
And he was known as the multi-law enforcement task force that investigated the murders of rap stars Tupac and Biggie. That's the Wikipedia story about him, right?
Valletta Wallace, the mother of Biggie Smalls, filed a lawsuit against the LAPD, seeking around $500 million, citing the widely known conspiracy theory that the police had concealed her son's death. As a result of this lawsuit, the case was reopened in 2006 and assigned to LAPD detective Greg Carding. During his investigation, Carding stumbled upon more information than he had anticipated.
And they got these pictures. Is this the guy at the top? Is this the guy? So I have 50 different pictures with magnets, and he's putting these things up.
Detective Greg Carding made a significant revelation during his investigation, stating that he believes the deaths of the notorious B.I.G. and Tupac were connected. While looking into Biggie's death, he uncovered fresh evidence that linked both cases.
I said, who is really the guy behind it? He says, well, we first thought it was this, then we first thought it was that, and we first thought it was this, and everything's going, then
After an intensive 3-year investigation, Detective Greg Carding reached a startling conclusion. Sean Puff Daddy Combs allegedly ordered a $1 million hit on Tupac Shakur. The motive was believed to be linked to the heated rap feud involving himself and Biggie Smalls. Carding asserted that the music mogul had significant gang connections in Los Angeles and enlisted the services of Crips member Dwayne Keith D. Davis to carry out the assassination.
They've got to retaliate so they don't look like, a weak gang. And two, they owe it to them.
According to Carding, Tupac's murder was orchestrated by Crips gang member Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. Initially, Keith D was intended to carry out the hit, but a last-minute change of plans resulted in Keith's nephew performing the assassination.
The Southside Crips and Orlando Anderson, Keith D, they know that, hey, we just hit this dude in Las Vegas, and, it's on.
This led to the tragic death of Tupac and the injury of Suge Knight. Interestingly, hours before the shooting, Baby Lane had a physical altercation with Tupac at a Vegas casino.
Immediately in the aftermath, Diddy hears about the shooting, finds out that there's, Tupac's been shot and is in the hospital.
Surprisingly, there are claims that Biggie Smalls' former wife, Faith Evans, was aware of Diddy's alleged plot to kill Tupac. Following the murder of Tupac, Keith D reportedly reached out to Diddy and Evans to inform them of their involvement in the tragic event.
Puffy asked him, man, was that us? Was it, what just happened out there? Keith D's like, yeah.
Fans have long been vigilant and attentive to this case, as it appears they were aware of the details well before the official investigation even commenced. One fan commented, "There's only one person that knows for sure who shot him and who was behind it, and he was right beside Tupac." Another wrote, "Diddy made a lot of people want to be him." One of Tupac's supporters questioned the autopsy process, writing, "I'm assuming after the autopsy it was confirmed the bullets in Tupac only ever came from one gun? Just seems strange why you would have a car full of 4 people and only one is doing the shooting." And another fan seemed to warn Diddy, saying, "Diddy time will come." The public's anger and frustration over Tupac's murderer is palpable, and there's no doubt they would react strongly if they were to encounter the perpetrator alone and given the opportunity. Furthermore, Mike Tyson Tyson himself has issued a public warning to the person responsible for Tupac's death, making it clear that he won't let them off the hook if he ever comes across them anywhere. He wrote in a since-deleted Facebook post, "I wish I had 5 seconds with Tupac's killer." Numerous publications have covered the story of Tupac Shakur's murder and the confession of an alleged accessory to the incident, Dwayne Keith Davis, also known as Keith D. In an interview for the American crime documentary Unsolved, The Tupac and Biggie Murders, which was broadcast in May and recently made available on UK Netflix, Davis speaks openly about being a witness to the murder.
I'm still here, bro. Still waiting. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here waiting, bro. Damn.
The self-proclaimed Compton kingpin reveals that he has cancer, which grants him immunity from prosecution. And that's why he is confessing to the crime 20 years later. According to Davis, he was seated in the front passenger seat next to the driver, Terrence Brown. In the back seat were DeAndre Smith and Davis's cousin Orlando Anderson, all of whom were members of the Southside Crips gang.
Along with Keefe D, the driver is a guy named Terrence Brown. They call him Bubble Up. Behind the driver is DeAndre Smith. He's in the left rear passenger seat. And Keefe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, he's sitting behind the right front passenger seat.
The 4 members were on their way to Suge Knight's 662 Club in Las Vegas, searching for Tupac because he had reportedly beaten up one of their fellow gang members earlier that day. However, Tupac didn't appear at the club while they were there. Later, as they were leaving, they spotted Tupac driving towards the club, standing out of the top window of a car. "My partner bust a U," Davis said. "When we pulled up, I was in the front seat." Davis said the shots came from the back, but does not name the shooter. Going to keep it for the code of the streets, it just came from the back seat. Keith D, the suspect in the Tupac murder case, has also shared intriguing details about the fatal altercation that claimed the life of one of the most influential rappers of all time. The South Gang member confessed to his active involvement in the incident, hoping to receive the promised $1 million compensation. However, he claims that he never received a penny for his actions.
They wait to get $1 million to get in the game.
Right.
And I feel Suge did the same thing too.
Yeah.
He waited to got rich to get in the game.
According to Keith D, the shooting began when he saw Tupac reaching into his pocket, and he assumed it was a gun. Keith D revealed that he was the passenger in the white car on the night of the incident. However, he refused to disclose the names of the other subjects, but confirmed that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was the shooter.
You think Johnny Cochran bad out here? Our boy Edie Fall a bad mother. You know what I'm saying? Our lawyer told us to do. He kept me out.
In several interviews, a documentary, and his book Compton Street Legend, the former Crip openly admitted to being involved in the murder. However, Keith D's candidness may now put his freedom at risk.
Who is them people that name street code? Who are them to make the street code? Who make the codes?
According to TMZ, a warrant was executed to search Paula Clemens' home. Clemens is married to Keith D. During the raid, police were seen urging the occupants to come out with their hands up. The identity of the individuals removed from the scene has not been disclosed at this time.
Police searched a home in the city of Henderson. That's about 15 miles southeast of the Vegas Strip. Shakur was at a red light just a block from the Strip when he was shot.
However, Keith recorded a 3-hour video of his confession in which he had admitted that it was apparently Diddy who paid him $1 million to arrange a hit on Tupac. It's not only Tyson and Keith that have pointed fingers at Diddy. One of the most celebrated rappers, Eminem, has also confronted Diddy for his alleged involvement in Tupac's murder. In one of his songs, he rapped, "Shot, I will not fail. I'm with the doc still, but this idiot's boss pops pills and tells him he got skills. But Kells, the day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out that got Pac." Despite Eminem later admitting that he was just playing, the track stirred immediate anger among some of hip-hop's prominent figures. Jay Electronica took the lead in the backlash against Eminem, warning him to tread carefully. He clearly warned Eminem, saying, "How dare you accuse Diddy of killing Tupac?" However, the Los Angeles Times had linked 2 former associates of the rap mogul, Sean Diddy Combs, to a 1994 assault on singer Tupac Shakur, and seemingly suggested Combs had prior knowledge of the attack. Combs, on the other hand, denied the story, calling it a lie.
There has been negative propaganda put out about me that's not true.
The The newspaper's report cited an unnamed source who claimed to have been questioned during a federal probe of the shooting and beating of Tupac Shakur at the Quad recording studios in New York City. According to the source, associates of Sean Diddy Combs were allegedly involved in planning the attack, as reported to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and The Times. But the mogul said, "This story is a lie. It is beyond ridiculous and is completely false. Neither Biggie, Wallace, nor I had any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened." Tupac's death has really ignited countless theories and questions that are still stuck in riddles. However, the recent progress in this case is somehow shedding light on some serious revelations.